My sister-in-law stole 2,000 euros from my husband and I and called us cruel and selfish for wanting it back. This story takes place in a major city in Germany. My sister-in-law 55 and her lazy husband 57 are constantly broke and keep on whining about it. For more than 10 years, they have been coming crawling to family with sob stories and expecting their bills to be paid. Their family debts are already in the six figures. My sister-in-law is a physiotherapist and her husband is someone who, because of his skin color and age, thinks he doesn't have to apply for a job because he wouldn't get one anyway. When asked why she or her husband wouldn't work, my sister-in-law always replies that she has back pain and her husband has bad knees, is over 50 and black and there are no jobs for them. Which is absolutely not true, as I was personally working in a job agency at the time and suggested lots of suitable jobs to him, which he didn't apply for because the hourly wage of 20 euros an hour was supposedly too low. Since this resulted in a full-time monthly salary of 3,200 euros before tax, there was no argument for getting up from the couch for him. Well, it's summer, my sister-in-law's birthday is coming up. We're having a family barbecue together. My sister-in-law calls us all together and makes a speech. She would like to buy a car and wants 8,000 euros for it. And then another 3,000 euros for a luxury electric massage mat. The money would also be paid back, this time. We ask her why she needs a car and how she would pay for the maintenance, taxes, gas and repair costs for the car. My entitled sister-in-law's response: my husband is American and he doesn't want to travel by public transportation and is used to driving. And my husband needs the car to visit his friends, as traveling by public transport was unbearable for him and he doesn't feel comfortable. In response to the further question of how they were going to finance the car outside of the purchase costs, without money and jobs, my sister-in-law got snippy and started insulting us all. We were all mean to her and just wanted to put her down with our questions and show her that she was less than us and that she had offered to pay the money back. It ends with my entitled sister-in-law bursting into tears and running into the house. Since I had to go into the house myself, I don't hear my sister-in-law crying, as I expected, but talking on the phone to her husband who wasn't at the barbecue. I can hear my sister-in-law complaining to him that all of us are tormenting her, patronizing her and talking down to her. My sister-in-law comes back into the garden with a smug smile, puts her phone on speaker and holds it out to us. My brother-in-law yells, "Just watch it, I'm going to F you all up, you a-holes. Just talk s about me behind my back and make my wife cry. I hate you all. You all suck and I'll F you up." My sister-in-law is there the whole time with a satisfied grin. A while later, it's my sister-in-law's birthday and we, the doormats we were back then, want to fulfill my sister-in-law's heart's desire, a car, by giving her a car-sharing deal of 100 euros. Of course, no good deed goes unpunished. We give her the 100 euro deposit, which she can then use. It's in her name and only she is insured. We explain everything to her. She understands and agrees to abide by the contract. She also promises that she will pay the costs incurred from her account once the 100 euros have been debited. Everything is fine. Of course my sister-in-law lied and didn't change the account details and of course let her deadbeat husband drive. Within a few months the bill was amounting to 2,000 euros. When I noticed this gap in our account, I immediately cancelled access to our account and confronted my sister-in-law. She ignores me, didn't respond to calls, texts or emails, but complains to my husband, her brother, about me, that his mean and nasty wife who doesn't begrudge them, the poor people, their car. POS sister-in-law says, "I haven't been able to sleep for 3 nights because your wife, dear brother, wants her money back. That's so outrageous." Her POS husband replies to my email a few weeks later and calls me a B-word and a witch, that he's going to beat me up, so that I finally shut up and stop nagging him and his wife about money. I apparently also need therapeutic help because I've gone crazy. He keeps threatening me that I'll soon get a few punches if I don't finally shut up. It goes so far that this aggressor jerk turns up outside our house and tries to intercept and intimidate me so that I stay quiet. Did I mention that this POS has already had several charges and court cases for violent confrontations? I report him to the police, only to have the rest of the family against me, berating me as to why I would mess with him. Don't poke the bear. I'm told that I'm to blame for the whole mess and that me and my husband have enough money and should let the poor relative have it. My mother-in-law even goes so far to that she would go begging from the family so that we greedy people would get our money back, so that we would finally stop annoying everyone. Of course my sister-in-law and brother-in-law don't pay anything back, nor do they apologize. Nothing. They are smear campaigning us full throttle. My husband's family roll their eyes at me when I bring up the subject and keep on telling me that it's my own fault, and that I overreacted with my complaint. I'm even told that my reaction was extremely over the top and that I am the jerk. Rebuke from the family-in-law from left, right, above and below. It ends with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law turning up at my father-in-law's birthday party a couple of months later and making a scene, saying that they are mistreated and bullied in the family and that we would all soon see where that would lead to. Again, the famous threats from my POS brother-in-law. My brother-in-law attacks all the men in the family at this event and threatens to hit them and tries to provoke my husband in particular to get into a fight with him. My POS brother-in-law has no success with this. My POS brother-in-law is such a sucker that he only pushes my other brother-in-law's wife to the floor because he doesn't dare to approach men. Such a loser. Meanwhile, my sister-in-law shouts at me that I can be held personally responsible for the fact that the family is now destroyed and everything is in shambles. She mockingly asks me if I am proud of my destructive work. My brother-in-law storms up to me shortly afterwards and shouts that he would do anything to protect his family, and will smash my face in. I call the police. When the police siren is heard, brother-in-law and sister-in-law flee the scene. Meanwhile, after 3 long years, we got the money back from my mother-in-law, as she had condescendingly offered to go begging so that we would stop nagging about the money. She was grumbling, kicking and screaming. But we now have the stolen money back from her. She saved her grown-up, unreliable daughter's butt. My thieving sister-in-law recently came scratching at our door again to announce that she had severe depression because of the way we had treated her. I wonder, could it rather be that she has a trashy, lazy husband who is on her back and picks fights with everyone he meets? Apparently, there was so much negativity coming from me personally that she needed to go to a special clinic to get treatment for her depression. I told her to get lost and that she should tell her sob stories to someone else. My husband also told her that he no longer had time for her. I can understand that the family-in-law felt it was ridiculous and not worth mentioning that we had been robbed of 2,000 euros. Previously, my sister-in-law had stolen a whopping 20,000 euros from her own daughter. It was her daughter's college fund. When the daughter asked her mother where the money was, she just shrugged her shoulders and said, "I had bills to pay." I am now full no contact with the in-laws. My husband is very low contact. I'm finally free of those pests. Unfortunately, I have to say that my husband's family, with the exception of him, are rubbish. They cover up intra-family thefts, tolerate verbal, physical and emotional violence, and practice perpetrator-victim reversal. I will never sit down at the same table with them ever again. Entitled brother thinks he's going to use our address for school enrollment. Context and side note, we live in the best school district in our state. I hate the fact that schools are tied to where you live because this causes a lot of disadvantages and disparate impact to certain communities, and it's overall unfair for those not lucky enough to be in our position. My golden child brother and his wife recently found out that they are expecting and asked which high school my children will be going to. He tells me he is going to send his kids to our school district because the school district where he lives sucks. I asked him if he was going to move or pay tuition because our district is not school of choice. He responds possibly, or we'd use your address. People do that. Like he didn't even ask, just assumed he's going to use our address. The district where we live takes enrollment fraud very seriously, including private investigations, bed checks to make sure children actually stay at the address on record, utility bills, etc. If you get caught committing fraud, it's a felony in our state, and I would lose my professional licenses to work in finance, and it would end my career. He proceeds to tell me that it's fine because I work with a guy who did the same thing and he uses his parents' address. When I told my brother that's illegal, he said that isn't accurate, because he didn't have to worry about that. Did someone tell you that specifically? So I said those are the enrollment rules and current legal statutes of where we live. Then he goes, we'll look into it in a few years. TLDR, entitled brother is assuming we are going to commit felony enrollment fraud to get in a better school district, putting my livelihood at risk.